Hey family, welcome to week 4 of Beauty with Motivation season 3. If you're new here, hey, welcome in. My name is Asia and I create resourceful video series that help you look good, smell good, and follow Jesus. This is the final episode of this season, but do not be sad because next Monday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will be back with another look good video. So make sure you pull up to see what's popping off over here on the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about how to respond to uncertainty while playing with a few new goodies that I got from YSL Beaute. I've never tried YSL makeup before, but it's a first for everything. So today we're going to be doing a simple, quick little eye look and trying on their lipstick. Now, this is the compact that I received from YSL Beaute, and it is so beautiful. It is a mini clutch. It has neutral shades in it, which is so nice. Honestly, y'all, it feels like a bag. I really love it. Very luxury feel. And the lip shade that we're going to be using today is 02. This is their YSL Love Shine in the color Raspberry Shine. So we'll see how this looks. I got a little lip gloss on. We'll remove it later. But let's just do a quick little look and let's just do a quick little look and talk about how to respond to uncertainty. So whenever I think about uncertainty, the first thing that comes to mind is fear, being afraid or worry or doubt or whatever the case may be. Just some sort of fear, worry, or doubt because I'm like, what's going to happen to me? What's going to come as a result of this? Is this going to impact where I thought I would be? Is this going to impact my finances? Is this going to impact my children? Is this going to impact my job? Like, uncertainty could be a variety of different things. This is going to impact my health, my well-being, whatever the case may be. Like, there's so many different ways that uncertainty can show up. But our first response to uncertainty has to be falling back on the insight that we received. What is that? Oh no, this is like falling down. Like, okay, we don't like that. Yeah, falling back on the insight that we received is so essential. And what do I mean by that? Whenever we're going through uncertainty, really, we have to recognize those as tests and trials because God is sovereign and He's never going to just throw us into something that He did not first teach us. And we can find proof of this within Mark chapter 6. This is when Jesus does the miracle at the multitude and He breaks the bread and He's able to like multiply it and all that stuff. And then He tells them immediately after He does the miracle, He tells the disciples to go across to the other side. And He had done a whole miracle using the insufficiency that He had, and He blessed His insufficiency. He prepared for God to move in that He sat all the men and children and women in groups, and then He broke the bread, right? And there was insight in that situation in how He handled it. There was insight in that situation in who God is. Like, that whole experience was to teach the disciples that God is more than enough. He can bless our insufficiency. He can transform a little into a lot. He is more than able. But yet they were in the middle of the Sea of Galilee struggling, straining at the oars. Jesus sees them straining at the oars, and He decides to walk on the water and go to where they are. And literally, they're scared. They did not remember. They didn't remember that God is more than enough. It's not like He got there and they were praying. He got there and they were calling out. He got there and they were scared. They were terrified. And literally He says, do not be afraid. And that settles them. He's like, do not be afraid. It is I. And that like settles them. But before that, they're terrified. They ain't praying. It don't say they were praying. They were crying out to the Lord, asking for His help, asking Him to strengthen them. The only time they cried out is when they got scared because they thought Jesus was a ghost. And even in that, Jesus was super duper duper gracious in that He calmed them and said, do not be afraid, it is I. But still, they were not operating out of the insight that they received from the miracle that they saw Jesus do. So with the food. So that's the first thing, to recall the insight that you have received. Who has God showed you that he is? Who has he been in previous situations for you? How have you seen God come through in the past? Go back to that and the things that he said. But also, another thing, number two, is to remember that God sees you. He always sees us. Even in this story of the disciples when they were, in the Sea of Galilee, straining at the oars halfway through, trying to get to the other side, it says that Jesus saw them straining at the oars. Jesus saw them straining at the oars, and then he walked over to where they were at. So that's another important thing to remember. Like, God sees us. God knows where I am. He cares, right? And so to be able to pray and approach things from that perspective, that you're not alone and that God sees you in your season of uncertainty. The third thing to remember and to consider in your season of uncertainty is that you can cry out and God does respond. So, like, even though they were afraid and really they should have been relying on the wisdom and the knowledge that they already had, them expressing that fear led to Jesus's response. And then they invited him into the boat. So it's like crying out and inviting God into our situation gives him permission to move. And he will only respond when he is invited. He is a gentleman. It's just one of those things where you have to invite God in. That is another like important aspect of it as well. And then another important thing to remember when we're in seasons of uncertainty, God will always do what we cannot do, and he can do it suddenly. If you look at John's recollection of this story, it literally says that when Jesus got into the boat, immediately they were on the land. It says, then immediately they arrived on the land, which means that Jesus was able to take them from where they were to where they needed to be immediately. So once God gets into our situation, he is able to transform it immediately. He is able to do what we were not able to do. So we can take courage in that, even though things are uncertain and we don't know how things are going to go. We don't know how things are going to change or if things are going to get harder before they get better. We can rest assured that once God gets in the boat, once God gets in our situation, it's going to propel to where we should have been, would have been, and can't get ourselves to, right? This is like a little simple eye look. What I'm going to do, they sent me brown mascara, and I've never ever tried brown mascara. I'm not even sure if brown mascara would work, so I'm not even going to touch this. But for now, let's try on this YSL Love Shine. So that's really pretty. I like this a lot. And it smells so good. It smells like raspberry. So beautiful. I could totally see this being like a great in the purse lipstick. It's got an excellent, comfortable formula. Wow, I really like that. That's cute. Now the eye look is okay. I definitely think I want to add a little pop of color under the eye. I'm gonna actually get my ABH palette. I am actually going to put on these Impress lashes, and I'm going to put them on in a video short, so I'll come back after they are on. All right, so we're back, and this is what the lashes look like installed. So you definitely want to make sure to check out my YouTube short on these. It is live by now. So I'm going to take this Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette volume 3, I believe, and I really want to add some color to this look. So I'm going to use A4, which is this really bright green. It matches the color of my earrings and my pants. I don't want to do neon. I want to do green. And we're going to put that on the inner corner. Oh, I like that. And to give it a little bit of a sparkle, I'm going to add C1, which is like this shimmer shade. And I'm going to put that directly in the center. Just like right in the middle. Okay. Cool. So that's a little bit of inner corner stuff going on. So, for those of you who are in uncharted territories or dealing with uncertainty, transitions, and changes, my encouragement to you is to remember who God has been to you in the past. You have a testimony, you have a story, you have victories that you have won alongside God. There are things He has brought you through. Recount those things. Also, rely on who God is in His Word. His character is true. Who He is who He was and is who He will be. He never changes. So, who He was to Joseph, who He was to Esther, who He was to Elijah, He can be to us too, because He is I am that I am, the same God. He never changes. And then number two, remember that He sees you. God sees you when you are in your struggle season, when you're straining at the oar. He sees you. And number three, remember to invite Him into your situation. Remember to allow God into your situation. And if you are scared, don't be afraid to cry out. If you are struggling, don't be afraid to cry out, because the word says to cast your cares on me, for I care for you. His yoke is easy, His burden is light. So release those fears, cast your cares, let the Lord know. And what will happen is He will speak directly into your situation. And when He speaks, number three, allow Him to calm your storm. Allow His words to be what you cling to reground your thoughts, to reground your emotions, to reground all that you're going through, and just call everything into submission to the Word of God. Cast down all the thoughts that try to rise with fear and doubt and all these things, and remind yourself of what the Word says. What has He spoken to you? Remember that and cling to that. And number four, invite Him in and expect Him to move, because He will get you there faster and better than you ever could. So trust that the Lord will get you to where you're going immediately. And suddenly moment where and suddenly you are there. So I hope that this video encouraged you guys. This lipstick is definitely my favorite thing that I tried today. I love it. Formula, the look, the smell, everything. I 10 out of 10 recommend this lipstick. It is so good. And I would love for you guys to chime in down below and let me know what you would like to see in our next Look Good series. Leave any video requests you have below, or just any feedback in regards to how you are navigating your uncertainty. I'll talk to you guys next Monday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bye, guys.